Hello, hello. Welcome to Grammar and Writing Lesson 2. There is no writing lesson today because you have a reading comprehension page in your homework packet. So, yay! Hopefully that'll be a little shorter for you guys today. Let's get started with our vocabulary lesson. Don't forget to take out your notebook. Make sure you have the proper heading in your notebook for vocabulary. If you need to pause the video and get that ready, go ahead and do that now. And we will get started. All right, we're going to focus on a prefix today. A prefix is a word or part of a word that comes at the beginning of another word, changing its meaning, making the meaning usually a little bit clearer. This prefix is macro, and it comes from the Greek. It means large or long. So anytime you see that word macro, think larger, bigger, longer. Here we have our first word, macrocosm. Macrocosm. This means an entire world or universe, or a system that contains subsystems. So see how that's something that would be very large, an entire world, a universe. It's a system with things inside of it. That's huge. So it's a macrocosm. God placed the sun in the middle of the Milky Way macrocosm. The Milky Way, that's our galaxy, contains all of our little planets and things that are here, that are inside that particular set of the galaxy. So it's a bigger system with smaller things inside of it. So we can use that word macrocosm. It's not one that's used a lot, but it's a good word to know. Macrofossil. What do you think this one means? Macrofossil. A fossil that is large enough to see with the naked eye. What we mean by naked eye is that you don't use anything to help yourself see it. Well, even glasses, binoculars, a magnifying glass, telescope, all those things help your eyes to see things better. So your naked eye would be your ability to see things without any kind of help. The microfossil, I have microfossil instead of macrofossil. Whoopsies, change that. It should be macrofossil. The macrofossil Jan was so excited to find had belonged to a dinosaur. Macron. This is a symbol placed over a vowel to indicate a long vowel sound. Do you remember what that would look like? It's basically just a little stick placed over a vowel. For example, something like that. That would be a macron, just a little stick placed over the vowel to show you that it makes the long sound in the word. For example, she pointed out the macron over the O to help her student read the word. All right, let's do some practice. Fill in the blank with the correct vocabulary word. Number 1, please place a blank over the A in steak. Is that macron, macrofossil, or a macrocosm? Pause the video if you need to write down your answer. Number 2, we classify dinosaurs as blank. Macrons, macrofossils, macrocosms. Number 3, a blank of peace requires the cooperation of the entire world. Macron, macrocosm, macrofossil. All right. Number 1, please place a macron over the A in steak. You want a little line showing that the A in steak is a long vowel sound. Number 2, we classify dinosaur fossils as macrofossils. That one should have been really easy. You had the clue word fossil right there for you. Number 3, a macrocosm of peace requires the cooperation of the entire world. So you have that big group there telling you what you need to do, telling you that that's talking about an entire group, an entire world system there. All right, very, very good. Our grammar lesson for today is about the sentence parts. So yesterday we talked about our 4 types of sentences. Remember, they are declarative, imperative, interrogative, and exclamatory. A sentence has 2 parts, the subject and the predicate. A complete subject tells who or what the sentence is about, and the complete predicate tells something about the subject. The complete or whole subject or predicate may be many words or it could be just one. So if I say, I went to the store, who or what that sentence is just I. So just I, nothing else, so it's one word. Let's look at these examples. Dark, ominous clouds gather. Your complete subject is dark, ominous clouds. That's the part of the sentence that tells who or what it's about. And then the complete predicate is gather. That's the action. Dark and ominous go with clouds because they're describing what kind of clouds. The freezing rain is pounding on our roof. The freezing rain, it's all going with that one word rain, so that's your complete subject. Is pounding, that's your action, our roof. So the roof tells where it's pounding, so it goes with is pounding. A man in black boots stomps through puddles. So man, that would be your simple subject, but what kind of man? It's a man in black boots. So the black boots goes with your subject. Your predicate stomps through puddles. And the last one, I like the stormy weather. I is your subject. That's all that you have to go with it. Then like this stormy weather. All right, so with our sentence parts, the subject or predicate always has an essential part called the simple subject and the simple predicate. So this is the small 1, maybe 2 words that act as the subject and the predicate. We call them simple because it's just 1 or 2 words. It's the main subject, the main part of the predicate, that's the actual verb, the actual subject. So look at the first sentence. Dark, ominous clouds gather. In the subject, dark, ominous clouds, there's one simple subject, clouds, because that's the one thing that's doing it, the main idea. And then the simple predicate, here it's the same as the complete predicate because you only have one word, and that would be gather. So clouds gather. Number 2, rain is your simple subject because that is the thing that is pounding. That's your simple predicate, the one main verb. The man stomps. So man is your simple subject. It's the thing that's doing the stomping, which is your simple predicate. That's the action. And I is your simple subject here. Not a whole lot of choice there. Your simple predicate is like. Very good. So the simple subject is the main word or words that tell who or what is doing or being something. The woman behind the podium began to address. So who is beginning to address? It's the woman. What that means by began to address, that just means began to speak. Citizens will vote in November. Who will vote? Citizens will vote. The creator of the painting donated it to the charity auction. Who donated it? The creator donated it. So creator is your simple subject. The whole subject, the complete subject, would be the creator of the painting. But your simple subject, just the main idea, is creator. And in an imperative sentence, the subject is you, and that's understood. That means we just know that it's there, even though we can't see it. Drive carefully. You drive carefully. The subject is you because we're speaking to you, telling you to drive carefully. Please help me. Again, we're speaking to you. You are the one to do the helping. Drink plenty of water. We're talking to you. You are the one who should be drinking. In the simple predicate, the verb expresses action or state of being. For a being verb, something like this. The macron is a pronunciation tool. And your simple verb is just is, not the whole thing. Action. The school adopted a new textbook. Here's your action. Eventually, we adapt to new changes. So your simple verb, it's just that one word, nothing else. Sometimes the simple predicate contains more than one word, so we call it the verb phrase. This is when there's more than one verb to make up your simple predicate. Many plants can grow after dark. Remember what we call this first verb? Right, a helping verb. Yiddish has developed under Slavic influences. Has developed two words, but they work together to make one verb, so it's a verb phrase. Debbie has been adopting stray cats for many years. Three words working together for one verb. Sometimes the order of the subject and predicate is reversed. On the plain grow many yuccas. Normally we have our subject, yuccas, first and our predicate, grow, second. But sometimes, for various reasons, it might be reversed and you have the predicate first and the subject second. So be on the lookout for when that happens. When you need to analyze the sentence, you really need to think about it. Don't just choose the first noun you see. For example, the first noun we see here is the noun plain. But the plain is not doing the growing. That doesn't make sense. When you stop to analyze your sentence, you realize plain is not growing. The yuccas are growing. So you cannot put plain as your subject. It has to be yuccas instead, because the yuccas are the things that are growing. Also, plain is part of a prepositional phrase, which we'll talk more about, but you can never have a subject in your prepositional phrase. Here comes the band. Very often when you have that word here, or even the word there, you end up with a reversed order of your subject and predicate. Here comes the band. Comes is your action. Well, what is coming? Is it here? No, here's not coming. The band is coming. There were several people in line. Again, just like here, when you have that word there, it reverses the order very often. Well, who were? People were. In interrogative sentences, the predicate is often before the subject or split by the subject. For example, here's one before. Where were you this morning? Were, who were? You were. We put our verb first. That's very often how we form questions, is by putting our verb first and the subject after. Here's an example of split. Did you see the Spanish bayonets and daggers? Which, by the way, is a type of flower. It's not weapons. So you're splitting your verb. It's did see. Again, when you go to analyze your sentence for an exercise, make sure you find all of the verbs. Double check to see if your verb may have been split by your subject. Will we visit the museum tomorrow? So you're splitting your helping verb and your main verb with your subject. Let's do some practice. Write the simple subject and simple predicate for each sentence. So you just need to label it. Simple subject, simple predicate. You don't need to write out the whole sentence, just write simple subject and write the word. Simple predicate, write the verb. Did Mrs. O'Leary's cow really start the fire of 1871? Analyze carefully, find all your verbs and then your subject. The yucca plants are called Spanish bayonets and daggers. There you go. At the bottom of this rumor is a dishonest newspaper reporter. Study your dictation carefully. Do horses graze in pastures? Don't forget to pause the video to give yourself time to write your answers. Wildflowers are not common in winter. All right, let's go over the answers. For number 1, your subject is cow, your predicate is did start. Who did start? The cow did start. Not Mrs. O'Leary's. Mrs. O'Leary's describes cow. Did you get your helping verb with that one? I hope you did. Number 2, the subject is plants. If you wrote yucca plants, I would accept that, but really the subject is plants, and your predicate is are called. Number 3, subject is reporter, and predicate is. It's not bottom or rumor is, the reporter is. This one could be tricky, but here you had to make sure you didn't choose one of the words, one of the nouns that's in a prepositional phrase. That wouldn't work. So the only thing that's left to go with is would be reporter. Reporter is. Okay, number 4. This is an imperative sentence. Your predicate is study. That's the action, so your subject is understood you. Do horses graze in pastures? Do graze, that's your predicate. Who do graze? Horses do graze. Wildflowers are not common in winter. Your subject is wildflowers. Your predicate is are. So what are? Wildflowers are. All right, that's it for today. Your homework is to complete review set 2, pages 9 through 10. Don't forget to read through the lesson that I have. That's the only reason that you don't have to take notes with your English sentences is because you have that, you have the notes really with you for the grammar part in your packet. So make sure that you look over that. You use that to help you with your practice. Okay? If you have any questions, just let me know. Love you guys.